have a little deep, sexy voice on that. My bad. Hey, had to do that. That's my boy Eli Keaton. Shouts out to Eli.
Keaton.
EK. That's Hold On from his album. He's worked on 2 other albums since. They are slamming. So definitely give a shout out to Guarantee alumni. My brother. Y'all just don't know this. You can vibe this like all day. His whole album is just like you can vibe to. So shout out to Eli. Yeah. Hold on. So check this out, family. It is us once again at the Roundtable Show. I'm that guy behind the board, Kerry Deasley.
I'm the other man at the table, Adrian Biddle.
AKA Money.
AKA Money.
In the house.
And I am bringing the finesse. I'm bringing that elegant touch. Sometimes with these 2 guys here, Melissa Bartlett.
You got it back for a second.
She didn't give a nickname. You know, we all got. You know, we get rid of the government names. We throw out them. You know, but hey, y'all stay tuned. You'll find out very soon.
Very soon.
PB.
We got one for you.
ID. Yeah. Inside joke. Y'all find out soon enough about that right there. So welcome back to At the Roundtable. We're the People's Podcast, and it is truly an honor and a pleasure to be with these 2 people today because it's been an interesting week.
Yes.
We had to shift gears and do it on a Thursday instead of a Wednesday,
Yes.
so our apologies, our sincere thoughts. Forgive us, Mom and Daddy, but we are here.
We are ready for you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do this thing. You know what? Something miraculous happened just today.
You said miraculous.
That's right. Pulled out my dictionary today. Because of the big words. But thank you to everyone. We hit our 400th like today.
Oh man,
Woo-hoo.
that's what's up.
That's what's up. And our 400th viewer was Michelle Chapman. So thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for following us and supporting this. It's truly something that is passionate and is birthed out of a need, I think. So thank you. Shout out a couple more of our viewers here. Justine King and Tony Cornwell and Judith Ellis Brown, Catherine Waddell, Charles Osborne, and one of my favorites, Lynn Self Cranfield. So thank you.
That is what's
Love
up.
and light to all you guys.
Yes.
That's what's up. That is what's up. Hey, Money, what's going on, man?
Ain't nothing, man. Nothing really. Just wrapped up an interview with the soul food scholar Adrian Miller. I had him on as a guest on my podcast show, Charlotte in the Know. It was some very informative information that he was talking about with his book. The President's Cabinet, and he talks about slaves as well as free slaves that actually cooked for the different families that had progressed through the White House. So if you have the opportunity, definitely pick up the book. It's a very good read. If you have opportunity, also check the interview out on Charlotte in the Know. Just search that on Facebook and it'll pop right up for you.
Did he give you any recipes?
No, he didn't. He didn't have a chance.
So you not getting any samples of any good food?
No, I already got the skills to pay the bills. I already got the skills to pay the bills.
That's what's up. Man said, you better recognize.
Whatever.
That's what's up, hey, Money. Man, that's what's up.
How about the rest of y'all?
Oh, man. No, I'm gonna let ladies first, of course, because, you know, without female.
I am chilling and relaxing. Doing nothing this weekend, but enjoying my brothers. I got my brother by blood, known to that rap game as Paper Boy, and then I got my brother by love, Jared. So they're down here waiting for me to get home to cook, actually. So it's going to be an enjoyable weekend with them too.
I keep hearing you can spit some bars too.
I am not. I am not. But when I do start up with the poetry again, definitely want you guys there, and hope you're grown enough for it.
That's right. No, we'll be there in force.
That's what's up. Yeah, definitely want to show love. What's going on? Tika Rose joining us on At the Round Table.
Hey, Tika.
Hey, Tika.
Sis, miss you dearly. Love you for life.
All day long.
Hope you're doing well. Shouts out to the family as well.
Yes.
You know, she's another bar spitter as well. You know, she came up through the ranks, coming hard, you know, and she was at the G as well. Shouts out to Keith Smith. Brother Smith, what's going on, man?
Hey,
Thank
Keith.
you for liking and checking it out as well. Definitely want to give a shout out to several other individuals. Shout out to Lamont with the House of Lamont. He did a fanatical, fantabulous job during, of course, we had All-Star, and it was crazy in Charlotte, but he held it down. Shouts out to him. Shouts out to Dup and Swat. Those are my people. They did an amazing job as well with their pop-up shop, and a lot of people came through with that. And then last but not least, I have to shout out Leslie Monet, PR. She had given me the opportunity to interview an event that she had, which is the Beauty Junkie Tour, and had some serious folks in there. Omar Tyree, my girl Jay Bell was hosting, just a plethora of individuals that were there. They're setting up something that is amazing in regards to the beauty world, as well as people that are in networking, businesses, boss ladies. This is for you. Check them out. They're touring the country right now. And shouts out to Leslie Monet for setting that off. That was amazing. It was a great event.
Nice.
Yeah. So what else we got on the table, y'all, before we get into this meat of this topic today?
One interesting thing after having a discussion with you was the process of how you came up with the name for this particular podcast at the Round Table, which I found very enlightening. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind actually sharing it with the fans and the viewers. I mean, the people out here.
All right. I don't know, it was an interesting concept because I'd always thought, you know, I love dialogue. I love when people can get together and share. And I thought of when, you know, a lot of people think about the round table, they think about, okay, the knights in King Arthur's court, and, you know, everyone was met with equality, even though King Arthur brought it. But then I want to drop it to you another facet, because if you think about in our heritage, in African heritage, especially, for example, in Ghana, after you work a very hard day, it is easy for you to gather the family and everyone would sit around the fire. And then there would be folklore and tales told, especially about Anisi and other folklore topics, you know, and it really captivated the children's interest. But also what it did was it shared with them, you know, basically heritage and wisdom that was passed down from the forefathers to the elders to the children. So when I thought about it at the round table, I really thought about the fact of us coming together and everyone is equal. There is no person in charge or whatever sort, but it's a round table, and the wisdom, it goes around and it flows. So everyone gains that knowledge and just that heritage. And the table is not just this table. The table consists of how we project it to the FB family. So when you guys come on live, you're part of this table, and we want you to share your wisdom, share your knowledge, share your love. That's why we call it the People's Podcast. So little tidbit of quote unquote Black history for the masses. Share it, tell everybody else about it, and bring them to the table. So yeah,
That's some deep stuff right there.
Sorry.
That was deep.
woo, my people. Okay. Tika Rose said, "Hey, miss you too." She said the bar's coming hard. Yeah.
Drop it.
16, 32, 6-4. I'm stopped from the multiplication. Yeah. That's what's up. So yeah. Okay, so guys, I've been, when this topic came up, I ain't gonna lie to you, I was intrigued. All right. And shouts out to my boy A Money for putting that teaser out, because it really captivated what we were gonna talk about today. And of course, my sis over there, she brought us some interesting facets to it. So I'm gonna step out of the way and I'm gonna let them do their thing and we get this ball rolling.
All right. Care to introduce the subject?
Go ahead, A-Money. Tonight we are talking about colorism. I do believe you titled the teaser "The Shade That You're In." Unfortunately, in our culture, society, we are just coming in a multiple of hues. But we were, I guess, trained to think that if you were lighter, you were better. You had a better chance to be accepted. In 2019, with everyone being so woke, I think people have learned not to just be so ignorant to it or say things that you grew up with saying, knowing that it wasn't right. But I still feel that it still has a play, especially in media and marketing and the music world, and even sometimes with a regular local shop. We still have to deal with that. We still have to deal with someone maybe looking at you thinking, ugh, whether it's a dark to a lighter or a lighter to a darker skin. So we want to hear some of your experiences. If you've experienced this, want to hear some of your thoughts and just some of your comments on this. Place for you to say, hey, drop the knowledge on it.
There you go.
Well, money. I know you always come hard with facts. So what we got?
Man, and I don't know if y'all ever heard of this nursery rhyme. This was actually the first time I ever heard of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this children's rhyme to capture what we're actually gonna delve into a little bit today. If you're black, stay back. If you're brown, stick around. If you're yellow, you're mellow. If you're white, you're all right.
Whoa, hold on.
And this was a children's nursery rhyme.
For what was that? Like the 19 the man? What?
Yes.
Wow.
Probably early 30s, 40s, who knows?
Oh my goodness.
So have y'all ever experienced it?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey Dina, what's going on? Thank you for joining us tonight at the round table.
Hey, Dina.
Wow. Go ahead, sis. I don't even want to touch that.
This has always been very sensitive to me, especially being female. Probably a lot of my darker chocolate sisters have probably heard this, like, oh wow, you cute to be brown skinned, or you cute to be dark skinned. Never just a compliment given. It was kind of like, oh, you made the mark. Because if you, was just dark skinned, oh, you would be ugly. It kind of took the compliment of maybe someone finding you attractive to the back burner because they added because you're brown or dark. Experiencing, short-lived model time, print work, and things of that nature. I had a lot of other elements that I had to deal with. Making sure my hair was right, making sure, I was fit, because they would naturally see brown and just be like, okay, maybe. All right, maybe. I was always in the maybe pile. Because there were some lighter skinned women that was going for the jobs. So there's a multiple that they do scar you. I found myself, shame to say I did go through this period, but being honest, I found myself like turning up my face to light skinned women or hating on light skinned women because I was always compared to being lesser than in a man's eye or to society. And I had to retrain my way of thinking to accept all, because we are all black and beautiful.
Absolutely.
Man,
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Shout out to Crystal Wooten for joining us this evening at the round table. What's going on, Crystal?
Hey, Crystal.
All right, so Crystal, Dina, Tika, tonight's topic is the shade I'm in, and how we, I guess, for all intents and purposes, how we look at the different hues and grade them. Sometimes we negate them. We definitely want to hear from you, so chime on in. Man, that's kind of deep right there, sis.
Yeah, that is. That is. And just to piggyback off of her, what she just got through sharing, I'm going to read this brief definition of colorism. This information is coming from thoughtcode.com. It pretty much sums it up like this. Colorism disadvantages dark-skinned people while privileging those with lighter skin. Research has linked colorism to smaller incomes, lower marriage rates, longer prison terms, and fewer job prospects for darker skinned people. Colorism has existed for centuries in and out of Black America. It is persistent. It is a persistent form of discrimination that should be fought with the same urgency as racism. So after reading that, I'm just having a hard time finding, and I'm not trying to justify anything, but I'm just having a hard time actually trying to make sense of why would we be doing that to ourselves.
You know what? That's interesting. And I think back, you know, and we're on this thing in which February is Black History Month, and you know, we've got to reflect on that as well, because here's the thing, you know, if we can be real in the room right now, back during those times, it was interesting of how, you know, you had those that were out in the field, you had those that were in the house, and that was that separation right there, which was already orchestrated. So if you think about it, it started there. I remember hearing a lot of, you know, my ancestors talking about that, you know, which, you know, the ones that were in the house thought that they were better than the ones out in the field.
Right.
You know, you also look at how that was perpetuated, because a lot of times when slaves were accosted, and some of the women were actually, you know, they ended up, you know, and the children that were born were of fairer complexion and such. So then it just, and it's unfortunate, and I think it's a subject that a lot of us don't really want to touch, because it brings back those feelings and the anger and angst and stuff. But it is unfortunate because now it has, like you said, perpetuated into society in which you've got ads and you've got, you know, how certain models are viewed. But on the flip side, there are individuals that are trying to help embrace that facet. Because if you look at it most recently in regards to a lot of freckled models and models that have, you know, the skin condition, which is some is dark, some is light, you know, it's like pigmented and such. And then even there's one particular model that is out of Africa. She's very dark skinned. She is deemed as the most beautiful, most sought after model in 2019.
$15,000.
Yes.
Yes, my sister.
So it's like, you know, while it seems like it's turning, it's slowly turning. So you have to look on the flip side, you've got the other individuals that want to go and pay for bleaching. You know, it's just,
I think the beauty market is a huge force behind colorism, because of how they cater to different people. It took Rihanna coming out with her Fendi line as far as her makeup, and having shades that cater to the darker skinned woman that did not turn them yellow in pictures because of the pigment in there, but truly gave them something to, you know, let's say enhance what their skin color is. For other makeup companies to truly offer those colors on a regular basis in their retail demographic, you know, you would have like 2 bottles and then the rest of them caters to the white women. So I think the fashion market definitely is a force behind that. We as African Americans, having the $1.2 trillion spending power, we have to make sure that we are not falling into that trap. I had a woman that is not Black, she was white, pull me to the side one time and she asked me, she said, "Can I ask you a question?" And I said, "Sure." And she said, "Why is it that darker skinned Black women hate light skinned Black women?" And at first, I was like, and I started to go down into, like you did, bro, the history of, you know, well, slavery, da da da. And then I stopped in the middle of the history lesson and I said, "You know what, let me ask you a question." She was like, "What?" And I said, "Why is it that dark-eyed brunettes dislike blonde, blue-eyed?" And she got quiet. So it made me say, wow, this is so heavy that even other races notice it. And they identify it as a turmoil. Like they identify it as a war between us within our own race. That's what bothered me the most. Is that, you know, you're like, "Oh, why don't you like somebody who's light skinned?" No, I love everyone. I love all my queens. You know, I'm the first one to say, "Oh my gosh, she's gorgeous, she's beautiful." But you have to be taught that. You have to learn that. You have to feel that in order to say, okay, but I think it starts with you. If you are confident in your skin, the shade that you're in, then it's easy for you to love others. But I found that very interesting you know, that number one, she was comfortable enough to ask me, but number two, that is something that she would ask. That's crazy.
That is. That is.
Y'all remember the movie?
Which one?
Y'all remember the movie?
Oh.
Yeah, I knew she gonna catch it real quick. You remember?
You know the movie.
Yeah. School Days.
Oh yeah.
Remember the battle?
I do.
That right there was eye-opening. I'm gonna tell you, when Spike Lee dropped that, and it was the wannabes and jigaboos. Oh my goodness! And I was I think I was working at Tryon Hall at the time. But when I saw that movie, it was on so many levels of what we experienced rather, and it just for that thing between the wannabes and the jigaboos, and just I was like, my sisters, y'all really fighting each other, you know. But at that time, that's what it was.
But then you have those people who can turn it into something fun. So you have Tom Joyner on his cruise. They have the light skin versus dark skin water gun fight. And it's something that we can all identify with because we've all grown up with that.
We did
but
take
it
a
makes
jump
it
today.
fun. Yeah, me and A Money, y'all. I'm sorry, brother. I have been giving A Money a hard time once we knew this story we're gonna talk about. But it was all in fun.
Yes.
But it is definitely such a major factor. A lot of people don't want to sound petty, maybe, or shallow, or maybe just don't know, just not confident in themselves that they want to address it.
So the unique thing that I'm noticing is it seems, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like it's more prevalent on the female side than what it is on the male side. Is that too much of a reach? As far as, I guess as far as, and I hate to use this word because I can't come up with another one, but just disdain or forced disdain on.
Maybe, but I think some dark-skinned guys probably won't ever say it, but they probably have a little mark or two, especially in from say the 70s through early 90s, where you had, your lighter skinned brothers with the curly hair, and all the girls going crazy over them. And then you have this nice guy who got his stuff together, but because he was chocolate, it was like, oh girl, he's cute. So you can have this one guy who has nobody giving him attention, but you want to be the one that wins out his affection out of 5. Wesley Snipes was one of the first ones that women started actually saying, okay, I might not be too bad. Or let me start looking at, brothers differently. So I mean, I think men feel it too. I just don't think men would be expressive as we are.
What you think about that?
I still thinking about that joke about, when El Barge and of course, Mr. Christopher Williams and all that stuff was going on, and it kind of got died down. Then all of a sudden, Maxwell comes up, and then people are like, "Oh yeah, light skinned brothers making a comeback now," But yeah, I remember in high school and college, it was like that. It was like they had the curly hair. Oh, special ed, and special ed, dude.
Yeah, I had a crush on special ed.
Come in with the high top fade, the curly hair and stuff. Shout out to special ed. He's in the QC.
Yes.
And I had to mention your name, man, because the sisters love special ed.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, he had those bars, light skin, the hair, everything, and his brothers over here like, dang, look like people with planets and stuff. Okay, it was just one of those things, But what's going on, Hagi? How you doing? How you enjoying us? drippingbling.com. What's going on? Yeah, it was. I think we do, but I think it's really low key for us because we as men, we like, we're gonna represent no matter what. That's okay. You all that. That's okay. And Wesley Snipes, he was like, look, I'll make up for it. I know karate, martial arts.
And that's something else too. Like, I think darker skinned people is like you felt like you gotta have so much more to offer. So you have to be smart or, make sure you could do something extra for, you know, us. It was like cute, be like able to cook, dance, dress extra. Like you couldn't just go out with, you know, sweatsuit on. You had to make sure you had clothes on because you were brown skin. For guys, it was like, you know, you had to play ball, you had to play, you know, at the top notch with this ball player in here, basketball or football.
That's right.
You know, it just makes you feel like, okay, I gotta have something else to go with this because I'm dark skinned. And that's sad. It really is.
Yeah. Oh shoot! Shouts out to Charlie Tools in the house.
Hey, Charlie.
What's going on, Charlie? Charlie. Oh, okay. Wanda Elbert Treywick. Hashtag dark skin peaches. Okay. Hashtag dark skin peaches. All right. Shouts out to Valerie Simon. She just joined us.
Hey, Valerie.
Valerie.
Somebody's giving a wave to mom.
My baby. Which one is it?
Miss B in place to be.
All right.
Everybody gets a nickname when you come on at the round table. So that's Miss B.
All right, Miss
In the
B.
place to be.
Hey, welcome.
Welcome. That is what's up. Okay, so I guess that whole saying about darker the berry, the sweeter the juice, we're gonna throw that out, right? We're gonna do away with that.
It's not.
Oh, y'all heard it first.
Well, you know what? With my daughter joining, that brings up another question because we do all have different hues,
Right.
and our genetics are strong.
Right.
So I have my baby who is more like peanut butter color, and then my youngest is chocolate. So you know, there's some parents. This is sad that would literally make a difference between their children.
Wow.
Because of their color.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, of course, obviously,
Oh.
but it happens.
Yeah.
It happens a lot where, you know, the fairer skinned child seems to be more admired, more leeway, more privileged than the darker skinned child. I know people are probably like, no, that doesn't happen.
Shoot.
Yes, it does.
It does. It
Yes,
does.
it does.
Danae, I love the way Miss B. I love the way your mom brought you into that and stuff. That means you gonna have a seat here at the table very soon. That was really cool right there. Yeah. Show the love. Oh, Charlie said ain't nothing. Then shoot. Beatrice. What's going on? Beatrice Davidson Springs. What's going on? Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, brother Brandon, Chuck Brown.
Okay.
Single Saved and Serious Ministry. Thank you for joining us tonight on At the Round Table. Today's topic is
Colorism.
colorism. That's shade and hue you in. You better love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of deep though, and it's interesting because when you talk about that, I remember, and a lot of people, well, you guys know, but a lot of people don't know. Like my mom and my dad. I remember when I was in school, we lived in New York, and when we moved here, and a lot of people were so shocked to see me with my mom. My mom is light skinned, and my dad is dark skinned. So of course, you know, God bless my older sister and my brother who passed on. But when me and my sister were born, it was, you know, we be out with my mom, and they look at me like, you know, that's my mom, you know, and you know, she's light skinned with freckles, beautiful woman, beautiful, even to this day, you know, just her hair, just, you know, that black with the, you know, streaks of gray, you know, really elegant, I think. And my dad, you know, same thing. So it's like, you know, up north, it was easy for us. Right. We didn't look at color.
Right.
We didn't look at, you know, we didn't try to judge each other in regards to shades and stuff. You black, if you pecan tan, chocolate, you know, caramel, whatever. So we just blended. But it seemed like when we came to the South, it seemed so prevalent. Right. And everybody had to, you know, question. And I've never understood how, especially us, we would be so negative with each other when all hues are so beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right about that. Because growing up in Montgomery, that was a major thing where, you know, and my mother, you know, she got her wings of heaven, hey mother, but she's like, so I took my father's hues and my brother took my mom's. And so when they would see us together, my brother and I, they would be like, oh, that's your brother? You know, oh, that's your brother? Yes, that's my brother, you know. They see pictures of our parents and they're like, oh, okay, oh, I see it. And that's where you just have to retrain your eye, you know, stop looking at the wrapper and look at what's in it.
What? She said, say that again one more time. Say that again one more time.
Stop looking at the
Right.
and look at what's in.
Let's get that 5 seconds just to float out there.
You know what? I can't.
Okay. That was deep right there.
Big
boy.
time.
Big time. Well, shout out to Miss Cranfield. Thank you for joining us.
Hey,
Miss
join.
Lynn, yes, indeed. Thank you for joining us. Love her to death.
Yes.
All day.
All
Boy,
day.
I'm telling you. Oh, so check this out, guys. Gotta share this because Valerie just shared this with us. She said hues should not make a difference, but it does. She said, I remember being called Redbone, S color, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. V, my broadcast name is Queen V, the Pink Tornado. Shouts out to you. All right. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So Beatrice says, my son always noticed because he was darker shade than the rest of us. So Beatrice, did that affect him in any way? Chime in. We definitely want to hear from you.
I know her son too. I call it 6'3". Shout out to 6'3".
6'3". Charlie said, I have dated a few nationalities and shades, being multiracial myself. All right now.
Okay. All right.
Charlie, you got levels, sis. I swear, I'll be glad when you come to the QC. We're going to have you on. We got to talk. You always be bringing that stuff. Oh, she said, I was the new Redbone. She said when she had her first culture shock when she moved back to Charlotte. Oh, Tammy Lawrence done joined us,
Hey,
y'all.
Tammy.
Hey, Tim.
Tammy. All right. Adrian, do me a favor.
What's up?
Start the clock. All right.
Okay.
All right. Lynn, thank you for saying it. She said we all bleed the same.
Absolutely.
That's even deeper. That's true.
I'm telling
Absolutely.
you. Well, that's why it's the People's Podcast, because people be dropping.
Mhm.
That's what's up. So let me ask you guys this then, since we're talking about the hues and such. How can I say this? Because you said in regards to how the brothers, but let me ask you this. Do you think brothers kind of limited their dating when it comes to the hues, as far as, go over here versus,
I do, and I think it was around the same time frame.
Okay.
Of, because then you had Vanity, Apollonia, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Sade, who was one of my favorites. So you had these women who were, idolized. You had Vanessa Williams, different women that went, Halle Berry, that people were like, oh, they're beautiful, they're nice, da da da. And so you kind of thought that's what you wanted, and you tried to find somebody that's close to it.
Mhm.
I don't mind preference. If you prefer someone who is of a lighter tone, that's fine.
Mhm.
I don't like when you say they're better.
Mhm.
That's the problem, and that's where colorism gets its power. It's not that you can't identify with or have a preference of, but when you start making that preference in who you identify with better
Mhm.
than the other hue, then that's the problem.
Let's keep right there. Okay, so people are chiming in. Y'all gonna love this here.
Okay.
Man, we're gonna open up a can right here. She said, it did initially. This is Beatrice. She said with her son, it did initially, but once we explained about my mother and my husband's father who were deceased and were darker hues, he embraced it. Thank you. Thank you for sis for having this dialogue with us.
Yes.
Valerie says, yes, I'm sapiosexual. Stroke my intellect. Color should only be an additive to your flavor, your essence, regardless of your hue.
That sounds like
Did you?
sound like
Charlie.
No, this was Valerie.
Oh, Valerie.
Valerie. Did that?
gracious.
No,
Yeah.
snaps.
All right then.
I might need to get with you, Valerie, when I start this thing here.
I know that's right. Tammy saying hi, just leaving work. Okay, so. Okay, you doing good. All right.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Doing all right.
All right. So Charlie says we all have the same hurt and unhurt feelings. She said, I think people date how they have been exposed to races. Good point.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
good point. Oh man, that was deep right there. Or cultures, she said. Thank you, Charlie. That is a good point, and I think that's interesting as well because I remember coming up, I used to hear brothers saying, "Man, I only deal with the light skinned sisters. You know how it is. Like, man, it's like really, but God put us all here, and it's the multitudes of us. Why would you just? To me, that's narrow-minded. I think I could be wrong.
Right.
But who's to say if you limit your perception due to hue, that blessing that he has for you over here, your true helpment,
Right.
that you let him go to the side because you all about the, like you said, the rapper.
Right.
Can she say that again? What was that?
One more time.
Don't look at the rapper. Look at what's in.
Wait for it. Just let it float out there for
So,
a minute. 5 seconds.
It's over.
Okay.
Now I have to admit, I'll go ahead and admit something. I think I had a bias when I was younger.
Really?
I think I did. And just listening to what my partner in crime over here was talking about, you had the Apollonias, you had the Halle Berrys. This is what I was exposed to when I was younger.
Right.
Okay.
And then you didn't really see a lot of dark-skinned people on TV at the time.
Absolutely.
So I grew up thinking, and not forcibly thinking, but I think it might have been ingrained in me, was that this type of color is acceptable, this type of color is successful, this is what you should strive for. So when I came across someone lighter, I thought that was supposed to be.
You had your chance, right?
Yes, yes. Now, as I got older,
Okay.
of course, my views have changed.
Mhm.
My wife, she's a dark
Queen Tara is a beautiful chocolate queen.
Thank you.
Shouts out to Miss T,
Thank you.
Shout out Miss T.
the one who holds it down.
Pooh Bear, that's how I call her.
What do you call it?
Pooh Bear.
Pooh Bear.
Yeah,
That's love right there. Boy.
It is.
I'm out here.
It is. It is, but and I think that's still kind of prevalent today. Not as much, but as you were saying in the advertisements and other products, I didn't even know that we still had skin lightener out there.
You do.
I just happened to come across a show, Atlanta Housewives. My wife was watching, and I'm not going to name the name of the personality that was on here, but she's a regular on here. And I walked past the TV and I walked back. I said, something different about her. Wife looked at me. She said, "Yes, she's lightening her skin." I said, "Wow, why? Wasn't anything wrong with it to begin with?"
Right.
That's sad right there. And it's interesting because I remember I know there was a big thing about Sammy Sosa.
Oh my God.
And Sammy, they did a side-by-side picture of him
Yes.
and how he lightened his skin. And that's really the thing in a lot of these other countries. You know, when you go to Puerto Rico and Cuba and such, a lot of the darker skinned individuals, they're buying these tubes of bleaching, skin lightening, and it's sad. I mean, it's like they don't embrace who they are. And it makes you wonder, like, have we followed so far into the rabbit hole that we don't even love ourselves, that we've got to depend on chemicals and stuff to do that?
Right. Right.
That is deep. Oh, Miss V. Okay, so Miss Lynn, Miss Simon, you dropping knowledge
Again?
Well, she's not collaborating with Miss V. So,
Okay.
yeah. So they got, that's what I love about at the round table, because there'll be dialogue going on within dialogue and stuff. So they doing their thing. Lynn just said, "You're right. It comes from your upbringing." Charlie said, "Like, I am a multicultural and multiracial, but when I brought home other races than the dominant one in the home, boy, were we judged or conditioned to be aware how my sheer existence was illegal or how outside the home saw me." She said, "Couldn't bring another culture or race home without getting a history lesson on how my family survived and continued to grow." That's deep.
Wow.
That's deep. So, okay, Charlie, you have to share a little bit more in regards to that. Valerie says some folks of older age would have nothing to do with dark grandchildren.
Huh?
Whoa.
You're true, Miss Valerie. Yes.
She said the lighter you were, the more receptive family was to men.
Yeah.
Heidi dropped the knowledge. I knew my sister was gonna do it. She said, "I have always loved my chocolate skin." Go ahead. Go ahead, sis. That's my sister right there, boy. She is 100% right. But yeah, that's sad though. Grandparents? Really?
Because you were telling me a story, well, not a story, but an example of some families keeping their darker skinned grandchildren in the backyard and letting their lighter skinned grandchildren play in the front yard.
It's because it's almost like you're marked with a skin of shame because you were darker. So you were in the back of the home, in the backyard playing, and the other children, because during this time, especially late 70s, early 80s, you still had the insurance man that would come to the home to get the insurance payment and things of that nature. So when you would have visitors or have someone of business, as they called it, to see a lighter child in the home, it's kind of like it gave you a little cloud of prestige. So the darker children were kept in the back.
That is deep right there, man.
And even going even further, still touching off of thoughtcode.com, under the enduring legacy, it says colorism didn't disappear after slavery ended in the United States. In Black America, those with light skin received employment opportunities off limit to darker skinned blacks. This is why upper class families in Black society were largely light skinned. Soon light skin and privilege were linked in the Black community. Upper crust Black routinely administered the brown paper bag test to determine if fellow Blacks were light enough to be included in their social circles. And what the paper bag test was, if you were the same color as a paper bag or lighter, then you would accept it.
Right. Not only accepted into there, but let's go down to Louisiana, when you had Europeans that would come in and port. And it was a big deal that they literally would pimp these young women out because of the Creole mix. So you had just a sea of beautiful women of a different hue and curly hair. However, those who were not light enough, they then were the ones who were servants. So they were the ones who would get the people's bags, make sure that they were in the ends, things of that nature. Those who were lighter were the ones that would then be allowed to go off with them, with the hope of them taking them back to Europe to marry. However, a lot of that did not happen, of course.
Wow. Stephen McPherson and Wanda Carr, thank you for joining us at the round table. Appreciate that.
Hey, Steve.
Man, look like people clipping in and such. Man, that is, I'm telling you, and the irony is that we're having this conversation during this time of the month, right? But the question is that how far does it go even afterwards? You know, once we shut down and such, can we quote unquote make people woke? Beatrice just said, yeah, I agree with that. Had a friend where the grandmother who did things for her lighter skinned grandchildren and ignored the one darker skinned one. She also ignored my friend's father because he was the darker skinned child. Valerie says, sad but true in many cases. Lynn replied, of course, again, this is that dialogue that goes on within the dialogue.
I like it.
They're chiming with each other. She said, that's so messed up. Beatrice then, it affects her and how she felt because she wasn't pretty because of the rejection. Charlie. Okay. So Charlie says, so my family has Black, Native American, of course, Black dominant in the home dating back before, during, after slavery. We were told how that happened, some by choice or force, and how we were added to the other cultures as we traveled through the world free and seeking freedom. Some had papers, some had privilege, and some simply passed.
Right. Wow.
That's deep.
That is.
That's real deep. Thank you for sharing that, Charlie. I appreciate that.
Yes.
It kind of reminds me, my wife is, shout out to my beautiful wife, Renee. She just hit us up not too long ago before we got it really cranking. My wife is of African American and Native American descent, and where she lived in Stanley, North Carolina, it was rough. I mean, you know, everybody was pretty much close together, and then there was those pockets that were around them that consisted of the Klan and other individuals. So I don't think it didn't really affect them. It seemed as though basically they had to bond together because of.
Right.
So that where it goes back to what somebody had mentioned earlier in regards to culture and how you're raised, that can be really a positive or a negative of how we accept our own hues. Like us, you know, we, you know, Garinger, and, you know, you had a plethora of different nationalities. Yeah, you know, and here was the funny thing. I don't know if you remember this or not, bro, but you remember how Garinger was like kind of themed like Garinger, the hood at school.
Yes.
But then he like, yo, I want to give them Miles Parker, those light-skinned sisters, you know, that put traffic, they cheerlead and all that. And it was like segregated even in our high school. That's how we perceived it. It's sad.
Our high school, Peabody, shout out to any Highlanders listening. We were Black, probably about 45%, and then, you know, white 40, and then we had like Latinos, Asians kind of making up the rest. And I remember one of the guys and I were always flirtatious with each other, but we never really started dating or anything like that.
Mm.
But rumors started. And I'll never forget that there was like a note taped on my locker. It was like sellout.
Mm.
And I was like, what?
Mm.
And, you know, I had a couple of my Black girlfriends say, you know, all these brothers here, you know, and if you want to, you know, date somebody that's white, you get somebody that's light skinned, you know. I mean, this was like a major, I guess they were saying like, if I want that, if I can get something as close as I could, however, don't go outside your race. And it was amazing to me, you know, but I was kind of like, what am I doing? Because I went to the same school, living in Montgomery from kindergarten to 9th grade.
Mm-hmm.
We were all Black all the time. I only interacted with anyone outside of my race, whether they were a teacher or someone at the mall. So coming to, I always, you know, went into Pittsburgh in the summertime and things of that nature. However, once we moved back, it was like, okay, wow, because I always felt like if I lived in the North, me and my mom always say in the North, I would have been light skinned. Because I saw a lot of mixed races.
Mm-hmm.
They were light, curly hair, or the girls had the long hair. Even though I had long hair, it wasn't that nice, wavy, thick hair. And I always felt like if we stayed in Pittsburgh, I would have been light skinned, I wouldn't have got dark, I wouldn't have got, you know, and it had nothing to do with it. But, you know, this is how a child thinks.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, having that opportunity to like a guy who was light or just not Black was like, wow, it was like, wow, okay. Ooh. And our school was one of those schools where it was like, okay, we had supposed to be the pretty girls. But guess what? I wasn't considered one of those pretty girls.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, you know, the same thing for us. And we hear that. And, you know, guys were a little cruel back then. They would tell you that.
Wow.
Or they want to be your friend.
Yeah.
You know, how many chocolate viewers out there, queens out there, you were always kept in the friend zone or the little sister zone back in the day. Like, no, you're not good enough to be, you know. So it goes a long way. It's really deep.
Brothers too. We were always brothers. You know, man, you're my big brother. Stay at home. What are you talking about? You know? It's like, wow, really? Man. So Charlie just chimed in. She said, so I never dated a color. I was proud to be all of mine, therefore dated on my mental stimulation preference, not on a look, no type here. That's deep. So she said she got mental stimulation. Okay. Loving it. So let me ask you guys this then. Do you see that maybe within us that this huge dilemma, it's almost to the point which a lot of times does it make it seem like it's a status quo? Like say for example, you know, you don't care whether you get like your sister or say, oh, I'm on the come up. Yep. Versus, you know, I mean,
absolutely. I will stand for that. Yeah, I think so.
Right.
I think at one point in time, I think it did. I think, you know, if a woman or guy got someone that was of a lighter skin tone, it was kind of like, oh, because for whatever reason, we put the fact that people who were light skinned were an accomplishment. Like, you know, not the fact that you were able to be in a relationship and it was healthy wasn't enough. It was the fact that you had a light skinned person. It was like, so you got your boys dapping you up like, oh yeah, so yo, yeah, she's a fountain. Or us like, girl, he is fine, he's cute, you know, and you're not even looking at him. You're just looking at what color he's in, you know, the fact that he may have had little waves or something like that. I think we actually put a status as far as if you were dating somebody lighter that you were on a come up, like you grown or matured in some kind of way.
That's deep.
Yeah, that is. And, I told you how I thought that was the status when I was coming up as well. And and of course, again, I grew out of that. I don't know how she laughed.
So Tara, you had came up.
Wow. Boy, wait till you get home.
or it could be vice versa.
Whoa.
Just saying.
I hear you, Brad.
Absolutely.
You know what? I wish you would chime in right about that.
I wish you would.
You're like, Sister T, was that your flavor? I mean, did you feel like you were on the come on?
I would love to hear her version of
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I certainly wasn't no type.
For real?
Oh, she turned me down probably about 3 or 4 times.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
Okay.
I worked for that.
That's what's up. Work for it. Well, God bless that you put in the work.
Yes.
Y'all a couple.
They are.
I love it. Yeah, anybody got some stories or whatever? Oh, pick them down. She said, yes, it was a status quo, such as thin versus thick in weight. Thinner seems to be more acceptable than thicker.
I don't know about you talking about now. Was it now or
You
growing
talking
up?
about now and then?
Now and then, Valerie, because I was thin, and I'm gonna tell you right now, it was a problem. Like guys would be like, again, you my little sister. You are, you cool. I was 125 pounds, like 4% body fat, not a curve anywhere, honey, except my cheeks when I smile. So it was not. I always got talked about.
Wanda said, all right, Mr. A, you work for that.
Finger snap.
Finger snap, boy. Charlie said, I dated an Asian and a white guy, and because I look more black, his family didn't approve on appearance. But only they heard my pedigree that they was delighted I was tan, as well as all Asian mother said. His father was delighted. I was an excited looking young lady. My response to both, thumbs up. Valerie said back then, now they love it thick.
They do.
Okay.
They do.
You gonna love this right here. Benet said, "Ma, Bree wants to know what's for dinner." Focus, Miss B. Focus.
This is not the place. It's the round table, not the dinner table.
That was a good one. Oh my God. Hey, this is the people.
Those are my children, and you guys will learn to know, and these guys know I'm very direct, and so are my kids.
That was timely. I can say that. That was funny.
Dinner order. What's next?
Get ass.
Hey, prop. She put a heart up. Thank you, Miss B. You timed it just right. Man, I'm telling you, I love that right there.
No doubt.
So, okay, so we're talking about people, if you just not chiming in, we're talking about the shade I'm in. We're talking about colorism. We're talking about, the gradient, and it seems like everybody has preference, or, they shun being dark. That's another thing too. I wonder how many young people today, if they are going through what we went through, do they have any type of shame when it comes to being dark skinned or perception about light skin and such? Benet, since you are on here, chime in. Since you waiting for dinner, and we got 7 minutes. Go ahead and chime in and let us know. Do your peers talk about different shades and hues of guys and girls? Here goes Charlie. Charlie said, "Now my present black man, well, he's perfect for me." Okay. Wow. Okay. All right. She go. Oh, your daughter has chimed in. Also about dating an Asian. I'm not sure if his family truly accepts that I am black, but I know that I love me. Boy, that sounds like our mama right there, boy. Dropping that knowledge. Thank you, Benet.
Yeah. So, and it's funny how this happens, because when she started dating, I've always stressed with both of my daughters that it is important that they respect you, they love you. And I use the same analogy as far as a rapper. Like, I don't care, what it looks like. I just make sure they take care of you, they respect you, they love you, they treat you right. And so she starts dating her boyfriend, and it's kind of like, okay. And sweet guy, respectful, smart, and you know, he and I have talks, we have dialogue, and so he gets to actually ask questions probably that he isn't comfortable asking anybody else. And a lot of times, you know, it's kind of like, okay, this isn't about prejudice or racism. It's about ignorance, and in the true sense of the word, because you just don't know, you lack knowledge. So the more that he is around, the more that he talks to us, I think it helps their relationship as well, because he has a root of her and gets to understand her. Where my youngest daughter is dating, you know, a black, young black African American guy, but you still have the same issues, the same questions. You want to know what their background is. You want to know what they're made up of.
Right.
Has nothing to do at this point being of a different race or a different color or whatever the case. So, I mean, it's opened us up, we should say, to really check us to say, okay, you're always talking about, oh, it's okay, I'm equal opportunities, but really, now that your daughter's dating someone else, and I can truly say that I think we embrace them over them. So.
Yeah, that is.
So Charlie just said, love is ultimately what matters. I am up. Wow.
Charlie, drop it.
She dropped the mic.
And just go back to just that old-fashioned saying of just getting to know that individual. And that's how it is. But, one more time with the rapper. One more time. One more time.
Don't look at the rapper. Look at what's in.
5 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That is something else.
Remember tied that love is blue. Love is blue.
Kind of marinate on that one. Yeah.
That's right. And I like, I do tune into Jada Pinkett's show as well on Facebook. And when she said it, I was just like, somebody else. Because certain things that my mother would, share, I felt that it was us, our own little nuggets. And sometimes you'd be like, what is she talking about? But then when you hear it, you're like, okay, wow. And it's had the same impact as it did when she told me. So.
Wow. Oh, Valerie just said, knowledge is power, wisdom is powerful, and ignorance is powerless.
I'm about to get up
Amen.
off of that, boy.
Pass the collection plate in a minute, boy.
That's great.
Some lessons, boy. Wow. Thank you, Valerie.
Yes.
Man, let me like that real quick.
I so love that our viewers are just so in love with them, and they are in tune with what's going on. It's refreshing.
It is.
So, Ms. B has chimed in again. All right. She said the light-skinned, blessed, as my mama said, girls would always get attention in school. I think it stems deeper than just skin nowadays.
Probably do.
I think so.
Yes.
I think so. Wow. Well, I'm telling you, this time right here, man.
Powerful.
Very powerful. Man. All right. So, last but not least, final question. Or better yet, not even, well, yeah, I guess it would be a question. If you could tell your younger self what your older self has learned in regards to the scheme you're in, what would you say? Everybody dropping this metaphysical stuff. I had to go on here and throw mine out there. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't talk to myself. I would certainly slap myself. Wake up. Wake up and enjoy just the many colors of the rainbow. I mean,
all the flowers.
All the flowers. Right. Everybody brings something different to the table. And why limit yourself by just looking at color? I would certainly give myself that advice when I was younger. Certainly do it now.
Mhm.
Certainly do it now.
Wow. Go ahead, bro.
Nah, I was gonna let people.
Don't you say it.
I was about to, but I had to catch myself. Go ahead. I mean, I asked the question.
PBIED, y'all know what that is eventually.
Yeah,
It's coming.
It's coming. I would tell my younger self to love me, embrace all of my qualities,
Okay,
and do not discount them because of being chocolate and skinny.
okay. Good point.
Yes.
She gonna miss that waistline one day, girls.
Oh yes, I hear you. That's deep. I don't know. I would tell my younger self that it's amazing what God has blessed us with on this earth. The many multitudes of people that you come in contact with is an opportunity to really learn and be blessed. Again, it kind of goes back to the whole roundtable thing. I would tell myself, I guess, to get out there sooner, because I was kind of quiet and reserved when I was younger. And it was funny because I was a husky kid and stuff, and I had always had like self doubt and issues about my looks in comparison to some of the jocks and everything. And I worked very hard to kind of like really get myself to where I needed to be. So if I had to look at myself, I would say, really love yourself and enjoy the multitudes of people you're gonna come across, because you will find yourself by really engaging with them. And I thank God for the opportunity I've had lately with engaging with some many amazing folk. And I guess that's the reason why I'm in this business now, because I'm making up for lost time when I was younger. But it has been a blessing.
Love yourself so you have more room to love others.
Hey, money, hands up, what?
Maybe next time we're gonna light a candle up in here and just
wave
put
your
on some-
hand, just go,
put some-
hey.
Some shot
Hey.
some NDI read. Let's get more physical up in this
There's
piece.
so many people dropping stuff up there.
Yeah, it's like the energy.
Yeah.
You just gotta get it, take it.
I'm gonna put that on my Instagram
Oh,
page.
that's so sweet. Hey, thank you to the people. Bring it out of us.
Bring it out of us. People's Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so folks, it is now a little after 7. Unfortunately, we've got to run. Because of course, when you're in somebody else's house, you gotta be respectful.
Yes.
Shouts out again to
Hooga.
for showing us love, allowing us to make this our new home. I'm hoping and praying, guys, that you get the opportunity to share this podcast as well as the other podcasts with everyone else. Our goal is to really shed a positive light to media. And I'm gonna say this once and I'm gonna say it again, especially to those up there in the cheap seats and in the rafters. The reason why we're doing this, you can go anywhere else and listen to gossip and rhetoric, but our goal is to really show the positive side of media and help you encourage each other and love each other a little bit better. And as y'all hear the music playing in the background,
Get off the stage music.
That's the red light. That's the music. It's time to go.
that's our time to go. So check us out, share it, and we will holler at you guys later on. Peace, love, and hair grease.
Thank you.
I thought I was gonna say something.
I thought you was gonna say
Me too.
chicken wings.